Right, so the opening to this story needs to hold you for a full minute, not by relying on suspense, but by grounding you in the survival realities of the Ice Age. Long before agriculture, packaging, or any concept resembling a modern ration, early humans faced temperatures that could, well, kill within hours, migrations that lasted for months, and food scarcity on a scale most people today never experience. Yet they carried with them a form of sustenance that was dense, portable, stable, and powerful enough to fuel hunts, travel, and entire seasonal journeys. It required no refrigeration, survived freezing weather without cracking or spoiling, and could remain edible for years at a time. This was the kind of food that didn't just keep people alive. It shaped migration routes, supported weapon-making productivity, and helped humans outlast predators and climate shifts. This Ice Age superfood was not romanticized or ceremonial. It was practical, proven, and deliberately engineered using techniques that still work today. The ration in question is the ancient mixture of rendered fat, dried meat, and sometimes berries, known across many cultures as a predecessor to modern survival foods. While most people associate similar foods with later indigenous North American pemmican, the root concept is far older. Archaeological evidence of fat and meat survival cakes predates agriculture and shows up in Ice Age Europe, Siberia, and early Arctic settlements. In every case, the formula remained the same, because frankly, it didn't need improvement. It was lightweight, resilient, and fueled intense activity in brutal cold. When MREs expire in a few years and freeze-dried packs rely on sealed environments, this simple mixture withstands cold, heat, time, and handling in ways modern rations still struggle to match. The reason this Ice Age food dominated survival was its unmatched longevity and energy density. The strength of this food was not an accident. Ice Age hunters knew exactly what they were doing. They needed a ration that provided the right mix of fat and protein to sustain long travel, maintain body heat, and support the immense calorie demands of hunting megafauna. Rendering fat removes all water and impurities, which prevents bacterial growth. Drying meat strips it of moisture, shrinking it into something light and durable. When the two are combined, the fat seals the meat from oxygen and creates a shelf-stable mixture that can last for years if stored properly. The impressive part is that early humans did this without metal pots, preservatives, or containers. They dried meat over rock platforms or suspended racks and rendered fat in stone troughs or hide-lined pits filled with heated stones. They developed a survival ration efficient enough to carry across icy landscapes and compact enough to save room for tools and hides. That practicality is what made it survive generation after generation. The process they used is still accessible today and doesn't rely on modern equipment. This is where the story becomes especially valuable for viewers who want to apply ancient knowledge to real-world preparedness. A modern version of this Ice Age superfood can be made using simple steps that echo the original method. Begin by selecting lean meat cut into thin strips. Dry the strips over low heat until they become hard and brittle. Early humans relied on sun-drying or smoke-drying. Today, a dehydrator or low oven works, but the principle remains identical. The next step is rendering fat. This requires low, steady heat to melt fat slowly until the impurities separate and the liquid becomes clear. Traditional cultures use marrow fat or back fat because its stability matched harsh climates. Pouring the hot rendered fat over the dried meat and mixing thoroughly protects the protein from oxidation. When the mixture cools, it forms a dense cake that can be wrapped and stored without refrigeration. Adding dried berries increases the micronutrient content, a practice seen in several Ice Age and later indigenous cultures. This method does more than preserve food. It really embodies the principle of creating calories that weigh almost nothing, while delivering maximum warmth and stamina. For a modern survivalist, it becomes a long-lasting trail ration, an emergency reserve for winter storms, or a lightweight food supply for extended off-grid work. Understanding why it worked in the Ice Age gives deeper insight into its modern usefulness. During the coldest periods of prehistory, humans maintained body heat by relying on extremely high-fat diets. Protein alone cannot sustain long-term activity. The body needs dense, slow-burning fuel. This ancient ration offered that balance naturally. It kept hunters warm while waiting motionless for prey. It fueled migrations across tundra. It ensured families had reliable calories during winter scarcity. Unlike fresh meat, it didn't freeze rock solid in extreme cold or become unsafe when temperatures fluctuated. Unlike plant-based resources, it wasn't seasonal. This reliability shaped survival patterns and allowed humans to expand into regions previously considered uninhabitable. Modern outdoor enthusiasts and homesteaders often rediscover this the same way archaeologists do, by tracing how ancient people adapted to their environment. The method still makes sense not because of nostalgia, but because nothing else matches its efficiency. For example, a person planning multi-day hikes can carry a few small packets and still have enough calories for full exertion. Someone preparing an emergency kit can store these rations for years without worrying about expiration cycles. A homesteader working through cold months can rely on a batch made during harvest season. The Ice Age superfood stands out because it bridges ancient knowledge with current survival needs. What makes this topic perfect for backyard wisdom is how practical and transferable it is. This food was engineered by necessity. It survived because it worked, not because anyone romanticized it. Today, people can replicate it with minimal materials, store it for long periods, and trust it to perform under stress. It is an example of survival knowledge that predates writing, agriculture, and even permanent settlements, yet remains superior to many modern preparations. For Cold War bunkers, frontier expeditions, and Arctic explorers alike, variations of this ration reappeared again and again because it continues to excel where modern foods fail. In that way, it truly outlasts any MRE and stands as one of humanity's earliest, most resilient solutions to the question of how to stay alive when everything else runs out. If you want more deep, practical historical survival guides like this, make sure to subscribe to Backyard Wisdom and share this video with others who value the hard-earned lessons from humanity's past.